To go back to your point about, how did you say it? That submission begins where agreement ends. Is that how you said it? Mm-hmm. So just having the mentality of saying, like say in a marriage, it's, where you go, I'll go, your people will be my people. That is not in submission, even though you are agreeing. So if you're ever agreeing, it's not considered submission. That's what you're saying.
Well, you can have, that's basically what I'm saying. I mean, you can have a heart that says, I'm submitted to this man, I'm submitted to his life and his agenda for our life. But the real principle of submission itself is not really walked in until agreement ends. It's like, and you can probably assume I would use this example, but it's a tremendous example. You can say, I love you, Jesus, with all of my heart. But if you don't tithe, you don't. You just don't.
Okay.
So you can say it all day long, but if you, but when it's tested, finances just happens to be one of the ways love for God is tested. In relationships, submission, agreement is how submission is tested. When you don't agree, what decision do you make?
It's when the decisions are obviously pleasing to the Lord, correct?
Now, Emily, we could go down this road of, the one I hear all the time is, what if he tells me to jump off a bridge? I'm sure we could go down that road. When the decision is pleasing to the Lord. That's why you got to know who you're marrying before you marry.
No, that's true. That's true. That's why I'm 25 and single. Okay?
So if you continuously, well, I guess that just goes back to maybe the personality of the people that are submitting, quote unquote. Is that then if you're just submitting just to please, you know what I'm saying? What is, that can get kind of tiresome, I guess,
It can definitely get tiresome. But when you said that, the first thing that comes to mind, yes, it's important to know why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. Okay? And your heart needs to be in the right place. Your heart needs to be in the right place.
Absolutely.
But the first thing that comes to mind is obedience is better than sacrifice. And when we submit, we're not just submitting because this is what the person wants us to do. We're submitting because we're Christians, and as Christians, the Bible instructs us to. And I wholeheartedly believe that when you do the right thing, even when you don't feel like doing the right thing, and you add some prayer to doing the right thing, your heart will change as a result of your obedience to the principles.
So, what you say, submission with an agenda, is manipulation? It's like Carlos loves Jim and Nick's. I can't stand Jim and Nick's. I done had enough of Jim and Nick's for my entire life, but if I want something out of Carlos, I'll go to Jim and Nick's. That would be manipulation, right?
Yes, it could be. You could see it like manipulation, but it doesn't change the fact that you are being obedient to the principle. And it doesn't change the fact that, why are you looking at me like that? And she's like, oh, I can't wait to see how he gonna answer this. When somebody looks, they're still looking in that direction, but they're cutting their eyes at you. She's still looking at Reba, but her eyes are up here. I forgot what I was going to say. It doesn't change the fact that you're being obedient to the principle. That you're being obedient to the principle. And from a scriptural perspective, and I've proved it in my own life, submission brings reward. It just does. So how do you get rewarded for manipulation? You're not being rewarded for manipulation. You're being rewarded for your obedience. Now, if you say, if you don't have a submitted heart, and the only time you submit is to get something out of, then yes, that's most definitely manipulation. And the thing that God rewards more, that God doesn't look on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. So that definitely has to be the foundation of it. But and since we always seems to go here with relationships, but in my personal opinion, I made a point earlier, and I was saying that, what did I say? I said that submission, I said authority, I said this is often missed. I said authority is born out of submission. In my opinion, a submitted spouse, a submitted wife in a relationship has more power, has the most power in the relationship. Because when you understand the principle, and because unless you're just married to a fool, unless you're just married to a fool, but if you are married to somebody who loves the Lord, if you are married to somebody and your heart and everything about your heart says, I want to undergird, I want to support, I want to build up, I want to push his agenda, I want to push his mission, I want to see him reach where he's supposed to reach so I can reach where I'm supposed to reach. If that is your heart, then what kind of man would not want to go the extra mile over and over and over again to give you absolutely any and everything you desire? Absolutely, any and everything you desire.